15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football.
What's up, Ken folk? Back here with another episode of Bubba and the Old Man.
Yep. It's state week.
Yep. Hell State, however you want to put it.
Yeah, this is a really good football team. A lot better than their record shows.
Yeah, they're I don't know why they're 5-4.
Well,
they are pretty damn good, and their defense is a lot better than you would think it is too.
Yeah.
They got some dogs on defense.
Yeah, and their DBs are a lot better than people think they are. I mean, the offense puts them in a lot of bad situations. They do have 8 interceptions. But at the same time, you know, their defense, top 5 in the conference, in my opinion. And by statistics, if you want to go by that. But Will Rogers is a really good quarterback. I think he's an NFL quarterback. They got one NFL caliber receiver. I think we can both agree on that, Mekhi Polk. And their running backs are a lot better than their statistical show.
Yeah, their running backs do really well in space. They catch really well.
Mm-hmm.
And that if they get in space, they're gonna hurt you. Yeah. They're gonna hit you for some yardage.
Yeah. They also do pretty well in pass pro.
They do
when they're needed.
And they run the ball better than you would think a Mike Leach offense would.
Yeah, they run it when they need to, but it's a lot like a lot of air raid teams, or air raid if you want to call them that. They don't hit you a lot down the field, but when they do, they hit you deep down the field. But they run the ball when it's needed, but they also use the screen game and the short passing game with those little hitch routes, drag routes, mesh schemes. They use that as another form of the running game.
Right, and point to be made with our defense and the way it's went all year, facing this offense and the way they've went all year. If we play zone, they're going to tear us up.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, like the mesh schemes, they'll just hit the little hitch that's coming back, and they'll get their guys in space. Will Rogers is a good quarterback who can read a defense, and he'll just kill you over and over again.
I'm not a zone fan, and that's really the only gripe I have about Derek Mason. If he plays a lot of zone this week, Will Rogers is going. The numbers are going to go up. As far as the completions, his completion percentage, yards, maybe even touchdowns. I mean, they know how to put it in the end zone.
Yeah, our DBs do well in zone, but this offense, Mike Leach is just a really, really smart coordinator, and Steve Spurrier Jr. is doing a good job of helping Mike Leach with the game plan.
That's two names that when you think about them, you think about passing offense. Spurrier, Leach.
Yeah, he's a descendant of the great coach Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
Who was
on the 90s with the Florida Gators.
Yeah, and then he did a really good job with South Carolina coming back, which a lot of people kind of had lower expectations.
Well, I mean, that South Carolina team did make it to Atlanta.
Yeah, they played us, the Juggernaut.
Excuse me.
2010. Didn't he make it to 2 SEC championships?
I don't know if he made it to 2, but I know he made it to 1.
Yeah, but obviously he's a good offensive mind. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on Mike Leach's staff. The great Spurrier's son. And Will Rogers is an underrated quarterback that people just think he's a project of the system, or however you say that. They think he's just a system QB. In my opinion, he's a smart quarterback. Not all quarterbacks could work in this system. Mike Leach had a lot of bad teams because he had bad quarterbacks, and this is not a bad team.
No, his first year in the SEC, he had the transfer from Stanford, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, and Will Rogers stepped in later, and they had good moments and bad moments. But then again, Will Rogers was a true freshman running an extremely complicated offense. And Mike Leach he's a good coach. I don't think he'll ever go to an SEC championship or anything. I think he'll be able to win 8, 9 games a year, maybe win 10 games when he gets those seniors in.
Well, you can never tell the future, but I know as a coordinator, Mike Leach is a championship coordinator.
Yeah, with that Oklahoma Sooners team, the one year he was there in '99.
Yeah.
That was a really good offense. They ran the ball a lot more than they were supposed to if it was Mike Leach calling the plays.
Well,
threw it 46 times a game, ran it like 22.
Stoops liked to run the ball too.
That was a really good Oklahoma team.
Yeah.
When he was there. But Bo Nix has got to put up points. I know Mississippi State's like 4th least in the conference in points per game. They don't score a lot of points, but they control the ball a lot more than you'd expect an air raid team to control the ball.
Yeah.
They're first in the conference in time of possession, 35 minutes per game. They control the football. So we're like 3rd last. We don't hold on to the ball very long. We got to run the football. This, again, is one of the better run defenses in the country.
Yeah. I didn't get to see a whole lot of last week's Auburn game.
Neither did I.
It was my daughter's birthday. We were celebrating her birthday.
But we cannot put all the blame on Bo. And I had so many people in the comments trying to just bash Bo, and he didn't play well. And he's got to play way better.
No, he didn't. It's been a hectic. It's been a hectic week. I tried over the course of this week to get in the Auburn game. It's really hard to get motivated when you know that your team only scored 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to go back and watch it, and I ain't got nothing better to do.
I mean, I know A&M had a damn good defense, and I know they got slam dunk, top 10, top 15, first rounder on that defensive line.
Marvin Leal is going to be a game record.
But everybody knows that you cannot go into a game and allow him to control it.
Yeah,
I don't. Like I said, I haven't seen a whole lot. I don't know if he controlled the game, but
the sad thing was we had the run game going. Tank had a good game.
Yeah,
and we didn't ride him. Sometimes you just got to ride your running back. He only had 15 carries.
He should be getting up around 25, 30.
In a game like that, when Bo's not playing well,
Bo needs that.
Yeah, Bo needs that running game. Yeah. And when we established the running game early against Ole Miss, Bo had one of the best games I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
So, offensive line got demolished, but Tank played really well. And Bo, I still don't know why people keep blaming that strip sack on him. He was rolling out. All right, so I'm going to get a little analytical, kind of. We're going
to go completely off topic here.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
let's do it.
Why
the hell not?
It was a naked left with Shanker on a little drag. It was actually a flat route, but you know what I mean. And it was completely covered because Shanker ran like a half-hearted route, and it was just completely smothered. Bo can't throw the ball away there. You want to know why? Shedrick Jackson was up the field blocking. If you throw the ball away there, that is going to be pass interference. But back to the topic of the video. If we go into this game and we don't establish the run game, they're going to control the football?
And we can lose this game. It's not unheard of for Auburn to lose to Mississippi State. We know it happens. It happened under Gus. It happened under Chiswick. I mean, I believe we went over in that SEC season. So, it's not unheard of for Mississippi State to beat us. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying it's not a bad team, and they can. If we're not on our game, we could come close to or even get beat.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a 50-50 toss-up because this is a good football team with a good defense, and we've struggled against good defenses.
It's not like, I mean, I know, and I find myself getting trapped into it. Mississippi State is the bottom feeder in the SEC. And Mississippi State is always one of them teams that's one or two, maybe three, elite players away from being a very dominant team. As bad as I hate Dan Mullen, when he was at Mississippi State, you couldn't count him out ever.
Yeah, because Dak Prescott was one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the SEC. He had him at one point #1 in the country, and obviously they got pimp smacked by Alabama. But I don't think there's a team in the SEC that hasn't
been pimp smacked by Alabama. I mean, shit,
Yeah.
that happens to everybody. You know, I mean, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, you know, they have their ups and downs, but one thing they always are is that you know they're going to be physical.
Yes, especially Mississippi State.
You know they're going to play 100% of whatever they have.
God, this lady, yeah.
And you know they don't like none of the teams from the state of Alabama.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can't remember the last time they beat Alabama. But
I'm talking about they don't like Alabama, they don't like Auburn, UAB, Troy. I mean, they just something about this state just really gets under their skin.
I think it's something to do with Mississippi and Alabama. I guess we're just rival states for some reason. I ain't got nothing against them, but
Yeah.
you know, I actually like Ole Miss as much as a lot of people hate Lane Kiffin.
I like Lane Kiffin as much as a lot of people dislike Lane Kiffin.
But
I find him humorous.
He can be a dick at times. I mean, he hired that piece of shit DJ Durkin to his staff who killed a player one time, but that's neither here nor there.
But I mean, you know, we can't overlook it. And I mean, if y'all want it, I'll sit here and bore you with stats.
But that's not really what we do. I mean, I had like 3 full phone screenshots worth of stuff. But it's simple to beat this team. We gotta play them head to head in the trenches.
Yes, we gotta get pressure on the quarterback.
With every game, that's the case. Run the football. It's basic football stuff to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of stuff, but they still run the ball on those little screen passes.
Yeah.
The little hitch routes. Simple stuff.
That is a big part of their running game.
Yeah, that is what their running game is. And Jaquavius Marks and the other guy are big in the passing game. Not just catching passes. Blocking. They're both pretty solid at picking up protection.
Yeah.
And if we whoop their tackles and get to Will Rogers, like against Alabama, he'll get flustered a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, he does a pretty good job. He's not the best athlete in the world. He can roll out those
No, but he can
passes.
move a little bit, you know. I mean, it's not like he's a statue. He's not Peyton Manning after neck surgery out there, you know.
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, but Phillip Rivers take the hit and still throw a dime.
Yeah, that's true. There are those guys like Ben Roethlisberger. Not anymore. I mean, I saw Ben Roethlisberger trip over his own 2 feet while he was trying to throw a screen pass. But in his prime, he was just shaking people off. Will Rogers, if we go in here and we underestimate him, he'll pick us apart and he'll put that team on the map for beating the top. I think we're 17. I think we're number 17 right now.
Yeah, top 20 team.
But this team hung in there with Arkansas, who we beat. That's a very good football team. I mean, we just watched the highlights not too long ago. They just missed the field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times they had a chance to put them away. It's another thing that goes in our favor. They may not be able to put us away because of their passing game. They don't run the football. And if they, a couple incompletions, that stops the clock. It's, again, basic football stuff. Every game, regardless of how flashy their offense is won in the trenches.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. It is always. I mean, the trenches are where every game's won and lost.
Even that 2010 Auburn team was won. Nick Fairley dominated offensive linemen. And that defensive line, we were like 7 deep or something.
I think Corey Lemonier was on that team.
I don't remember.
I'm having trouble remembering too. I mean, it's been a long week with very little sleep. God, I keep wanting to say Corey Lemonier. I can't remember. I mean, but Nick Fairley by far was the best. But I mean,
he was the best defense player in the country.
Yeah, it wasn't junk beside him. I
know. I know. It was very good SEC players.
Yeah.
And that offensive line just had dogs on it.
It did. I can't think of their names either. But
well, I know one of them was Ryan Pugh.
Yeah, Ryan Pugh.
I don't think he did anything in the league. None of them really, I don't think, did anything in the league. But they were just...
Was it Greg Robinson?
Gray Robinson was the 2013.
Yeah, that's right. It was 2013.
That's another team that won games in the trenches.
Yeah. And by running the ball.
45 times a game.
Yeah, but it wasn't all on one running back.
I know, but 46 in the SEC championship. We definitely rode Trey Mason.
Well, he wanted that record,
He beat it by like 100 yards.
But that's what I want everybody at home to know is this is not an Auburn team just yet, like under Coach Tubbs, that you can go on the schedule and pencil in, a Mississippi State win.
South Carolina.
Win.
Florida showed them that last week.
Yeah. Vanderbilt win. Tennessee win.
You might be able to pencil it in for Vanderbilt this year.
Yeah, maybe this year. But, I'm just saying, we're not there yet. We're going to get there, and we'll make another video on another day about Coach Tubbs. I loved Coach Tubbs.
Making a pretty good senator.
But Coach Tubbs left a lot to be desired. He really had a chance to take over the state of Alabama and take over the SEC, and I don't think he really enjoyed recruiting.
Yeah, and that's one thing. He never got back to that 2004 form.
No.
That was a team that we should have went to the national championship that year. Oklahoma was...
As an Auburn fan, I'm still one of the people that say that, Oklahoma and USC started that season 1-2. They finished that season 1-2. What the hell were you going to do? Granted, I firmly believe Auburn would have waxed Oklahoma's ass.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that Auburn would have given USC a hell of a game.
Yep, that was another one of them Pete Carroll teams, wasn't it?
It was.
And
they were dominant. That team had Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindell White.
Man, I really wish I'd been able to see those days.
I think Ray Luga was on that team.
But
it was just a lot of they had a lot of NFL talent on that team, which that 2004 Auburn team.
Mm-hmm.
Cadillac, Ronnie Brown,
Jason Campbell.
There was an NFL receiver on that team. I can't remember his name.
But that defense was one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Tuberville and Gene Chizik masterminded that to the point to where I don't think anybody could have ran or thrown on that defense.
For very much. That was also a year, 2004, that was a year, I think that game was in Bryant-Denny. And Alabama come out like their hair was on fire and jumped up on Auburn that year. Scored once or twice. I think Auburn was down by 10 before they scored first touchdown or something like that anyhow.
It's something about those games of the century in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, you just 2004.
Yeah.
2013.
2013, we were down 14.
Yeah.
And Trey Mason had fumbled. That was rare.
Yeah. You just... The point is, you never know. Even Alabama. Nobody saw Alabama losing to Texas A&M. I will argue that with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I turned that game off when Alabama come back and took the lead.
Yeah.
I said, this game is over.
And it seemed like the rest was just trying to get them that win, especially when Evan Neal was still going down when they snapped the ball and threw that little pass over there for the touchdown that put them up.
It just...
Anything can happen, and that's what we have to understand. This is a football team that's almost as good as us, and Texas A&M, I believe, was a team that was slightly better than us, and we played them tough. So
we did.
And then this year, there is no quit in this team.
There's not, but there has to be some frustration.
100%.
And that frustration needs to be turned loose on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Take all your frustration out on the other team.
And that's what I love, especially about our defensive line. So improved, by far, way more physical. And we are more undersized. We are very undersized. Marcus Harris, what's he, 260 maybe on a good day?
I'm not sure.
Colby Wooden. Outside of Marquise Burks and Tony Fair and J.J. Pegues, we ain't got much size on that D-line.
We don't, and I did some studying on this earlier in the week when I had a little bit of time. As bad as I hate to say it, I have to say, statistically it shows our offensive line is much improved from last year.
Oh, yeah, 100%, especially in pass protection.
As bad as I hate to say it, and I have to say I'm one of the ones that give the offensive line a ton of hell.
Well, I mean, as two offensive linemen, and I didn't necessarily play a lot, but I know that offensive line gets the bulk of the blame outside of the quarterback when we lose.
Well, it's an old statement. The favorite player on any SEC team is a backup quarterback.
Yes, and oh my God, is that so true for our fan base. I know more schemes and stuff than a lot of people, and I know people, they see Bo Nix throw a pass, the ball hits the ground. Obviously, that was a bad pass somehow, regardless of whether the receiver, regardless of if we had any receivers open.
Yeah.
Like so many times, and people hate when Bo scrambles. What do you want him to do? Stand in the pocket and get his head taken off?
Yeah, listen, Bo Nix is the best guy for the job this season, and that's I hate to say it, but he is. Our backup,
TJ?
Yeah, he's a statue.
Very much so. Do you remember when he tried to scramble against Georgia State?
Yeah, he's a statue. I don't mean he can't move. He moves well in the pocket. For a big man, he moves very well in the pocket.
Footwork, and he's such a gifted thrower.
But if he tries to break out and run, there's no way he can run from a DeMarvin Leal.
No.
There's no way he can run from anybody. From Tyus Weedy or Whitey or whatever. What's his name for the
pass rusher
for Mississippi State? He ain't running from him.
And I'm not saying
that dude's fast. Super, really fast.
And I 100% agree with a lot of fans that Bo should have been benched last week. And it's not, again, because he was playing terrible. It's because that spark we had against Georgia State. We'd have lost against Georgia State if Bo stayed in.
Yeah, sometimes, changing the quarterbacks up in the middle of the game, it does your offensive lines like, all right, they know when TJ gets in there, he can't run.
They've seen him run sprints.
Yeah, they know he can't run, so they step their game up.
And I love TJ as much as all the fans do.
I love him, and I hope he stays at Auburn.
Big Uno, I love him. He's next year if Bo leaves, giving him 100%.
Next year if Bo stays, I think he should be given an opportunity to start.
Yeah, every week it should be open opportunity if Bo goes out Monday and he's missing simple throws.
Yeah.
Like he tends to do. It should obviously be an open competition for Demetrius and Grant Lloyd. If they perform consistently, now Grant Lloyd's obviously the least talented quarterback on the roster, but I believe every week Coach Harson's giving TJ the ability to, if Bo doesn't play well, he can step in. And I trust TJ if he gets in the game. But we saw against LSU, he was swarmed. Every play.
This offensive line's just not good enough for a pocket passer. It has to be a quarterback that can move.
Mm-hmm.
This offensive line, as much improved as they are, they're still like 17th best in the SEC.
2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
I think we do have a bottom 7 offensive line in the SEC. But, I wouldn't be shocked if TJ walks out with the ones tomorrow with how average Bo played last week. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think he's the best option. But that's for the coaches to decide. For all the people who are couch coaches who think, okay, pull the quarterback now, clearly Harson's seeing something in practice to where he doesn't trust TJ to go out there at that point. Clearly it's showing that TJ's just maybe not be developed to the point to start right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he started tomorrow because I'm not at the practices. I'm not seeing him in practice, but clearly he didn't get Bo didn't get benched against Georgia. Bo didn't get benched against Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And we've seen if he trusts TJ, he's willing to pull Bo like he did against Georgia State.
Right, but Georgia State, that's a defense. That's not Georgia, best defense in the country. That's not Texas A&M, top 10 defense in the country.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. If he really believed, and clearly he knows more about the team than we do, and I think we need to understand that, he's not seeing enough from TJ to be willing to pull Bo against the best defense in the country when Bo's not necessarily playing that bad. When Bo's not playing necessarily that bad against Texas A&M. And I know a bad quarterback when I see one. Quoted to Hudson Mason. It's taking it way back, ain't it?
I hope one day he sees one of these videos.
I'll tell him to his face. I think he's a good guy. Not a great quarterback. And we know a bad quarterback again when we see one. Jeremy Johnson.
Yeah.
So, listen. Calm down.
Everything's still right in front of us. We just got to do our part and win out. And hope tomorrow I'm going to be pulling for them Rebels.
Hard.
The
And my man is not going to be happy about it.
The Rebel Black Bear Land Sharks, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves next week, Hotty Toddy.
Hotty Toddy.
I'm going to be cheering for them like hell.
Yes. And if we make it to the SEC Championship, Coach Harsin, lifetime contract immediately.
No. No, after making it to the SEC Championship and shit in the bed, we got stuck for 4 more years with Gus Malzahn.
After his first year when we won it, oh my God, fans, and I was too.
Oh God, he's next.
Well, I mean,
he's a better Nick Saban.
We can't blame him for that.
No,
I mean, when your coach takes it to almost beats Florida State.
Oh well, he's the reason they lost to Florida State.
To be fair, probably, but that was a top 5 offense and defense in the country that year.
It was like the best rushing offense.
No, I'm talking about Florida State that year.
Oh,
Jameis,
I thought you was talking about Auburn.
But I don't know how people didn't know Jameis was going to be a bust after watching that game. He missed so many throws.
It is what it is. We ain't talking about Jameis. Well, anyhow, Bubba, I got to get up at 3 a.m.
All right. Well, this was a ramble video. Just give a quick prediction for the game.
Auburn 28, Mississippi State 20.
I'm going 34-28, 2013 Iron Bowl style. War Eagle.
War damn Eagle.
Selena, go!
Oh.
Stop!